Hello, all my inspirations. How are we all doing? How are we doing today? How are we doing this morning? How are we doing this evening? Whatever time you're seeing this video. So I just hope we're all alright and we're all keeping safe. I'm gonna get straight into it really, like I usually do. Today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. It's not gonna be the same. Um, you know, it's not a topic basically. It's like more of a game. So this is called What Would You Do? That's the name of the game. That's the title of the game, and it's basically about some scenarios that I guess over the years have discussed with my friends, things that you may have read, even questions that people may have even asked me. What I've done is I've put these together and I would like to hear from each and every one of you. So when I read the comments, it will be good if you would leave when I read the scenario rather, it will be good if you leave the comment or what you would do in the comment section below, so we can all interact and just have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to start with the first scenario. Okay, I got my notes over here. So the first one is, what would you do if you went to a dinner party and everything you tasted was awful? Your host asked you if you liked the food. What is your response? So you go to a dinner party, everything's going well, you're sitting down, the food comes out, you're hungry, and you taste the food and you're like, something isn't right here. And then your host turns around and says, how was the food? How was the food, Marie? How was the food, whoever you are? How was the food? What would you say in response to that? Now, it could go either way. And I think that it all comes down to who the person is to me. Like, for example, if I didn't know the person and I went to their house and they asked me how the food went, I may have to tell a white lie. And I may have to say, this is nice, Or, I don't know, it depends. Like, I was discussing this with my mom and she was saying that she would say something along the lines of, did you put salt in this, or did you take away salt, or did you add salt, or what's your ingredients, something along those lines. Or, I don't know. I think if I didn't know the person, I think straight away I may just say, like, yeah, this is nice, because I don't want to offend them, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Now, on the flip side, if it was somebody I knew, it was my friends and I'm close to that person, I would say what went wrong today in the kitchen. I'll be like, this isn't it. Like, what did you do? Like, you put too much salt, or you didn't put enough salt. I would say it nicely, but I'd just be like, I wouldn't, it's not even like I'll say it nicely, I'll just say it, like, not to offend. I'll just be like, this is too salty, or this is too it doesn't have enough salt inside of it. But it's not offensive because they know that at the end of the day, it can never be, I'll still eat the food as well. I'm not even going to lie. Like, if it was my friend that cooked, chances are it's not going to be awful. I'll still eat the food, but I'll just be like, it's a bit salty. The same way I'll say to myself, if I've cooked something and I made a mistake, I'll be like, oh, this is a bit too salty, or I need to add more salt. It's just the reality to make it taste the best that it can taste. Now, if there was a situation where the person wants to go into business, or they want to open a restaurant or a food shop, they want to do a catering service, and they're asking for your honest opinion, that's a bit different. I do not think it's right for you to tell that person the white lie, or say to them, this was nice food, where you know that if 5 people are tasting it, at least 4 people are going to have a problem with it, meaning that their business is not going to be booming, or they're not going to at least sell as much as they would like to sell. So I think in cases like that, they have to be willing to receive the constructive, because at that point I think it would be constructive feedback, or should I say constructive criticism in that case. So it's a bit different. And also, if it's like a child, I guess that's asking you, I don't know how many children host dinner parties, but you know what I mean. If a child's asking you, oh, what do you think about my food that I cooked? Of course, you're going to say the food is nice, you know. I just think it's about who, where, when, the occasion. So, yeah, moving on to number 2. What would you do if your partner of 5 years and your best friend of 15 years had an affair? What would you do in this situation? If your partner of 5 years and your best friend of 15 years were having an affair, like, at this point, guys, comment below as to what you would do. Do you know what? I'm going to make it easy. So what you can do is you can write number 2 and then write your answer. Don't, like, because I know what numbers I'm doing. So obviously number 1 was the whole food one. Number 2 was the number 2 is the one I'm talking about now, about the partners and the affair. So just write 2 and write your answer so that you don't have to be explaining too much. But anyway, back to, what would you do, guys, in that situation? My thing is, I believe I would back out the situation. I think they should just be with themselves. If they've been having an affair, my friend, I think I would be like disappointed with my partner, but I would be hurt by my friend. So for me, at that point I would no longer continue the friendship with my friend, and I would no longer continue the relationship with my partner. I'm sorry. So I think that's what I would do. Now, there's also like another thing that, you know, I guess one could consider, because everyone is different. So in that case, who would you blame? Would you blame your friend, your partner, or would you blame both of them? I'll certainly blame both of them. But like I said, I'll be more disappointed with my partner and I'll be more hurt with my friend. I don't know how I would move forward in terms of remaining in a relationship with my partner, or even being a friend to my friend after knowing that. Now, that is not to say forgiveness will not take part. That is not to say that you know, and I don't want, well, it's just not to say that I will not forgive the person or both of them for my own good. And I'm going to even do a topic on forgiveness as well, actually, because that's a deep, deep thing in itself. However, that's what I think, and I know some people have been in these situations, and I just want to encourage anybody out there that has been in that kind of situation, and actually maybe you're still in a place of hurt. And I think it's understandable and it's even justifiable that you would be in a state of shock. I mean, in a state of shock as well, actually, hurt and shock, because depending on how long ago it was, and it's just shocking. Like, but ultimately, find it in yourself through relationship with God to forgive that person so that you can move on with your life and so that you can heal from that situation, because it is very, very important that we take care of our soul first and foremost, even though we are not the one that caused that problem, but we have a responsibility to take care of what's going on inside of us. It's just the way cookie crumbles. But you come out stronger, you come out better, and it's a testimony ultimately for the next person that has gone through it. You can also tell them that, you know what, I've been through something similar to this, and you know, this is what I done, you know, this is what I did rather, and this is how you can overcome this situation. So yes. Okay, number 3. What would you do if your close friend had body odor? So what would you do if your close friend had body odor? So anything from obviously them, you know, I guess not smelling fresh, basically, or having mouth odor, or, you know, things of that nature. What would you do? Would you leave your friend to be continuing in that condition, or would you actually address them and tell them that, you know, this is what's happening? Now, it could go either way, because these are times when it's not what you say, it's how you say it really, 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 really matters. Excuse me. these are the times that really matters, because I think it's always going to be a bit uncomfortable to tell somebody that they're not smelling fresh, or that they're not smelling fresh. So my advice with that, or what I would do in that situation, is make it a we problem. I would make it a we issue. So I would try and find something very relatable. What do I mean by that? Oh, well, I remember 2 years ago I had the same issue, and I think it's because the deodorant I was using wasn't strong enough. Or I think that sometimes during the day we just end up doing so many things, and we just, we get really hot, we get really bothered, and sometimes, or is this a medical condition? So I think sometimes, even if you might have not had that issue, try and make it a we problem, because then it becomes both of your shame as opposed to that person's shame. Now, I don't think, because when I thought about this scenario and I thought about this question, I thought, there are some people in the world that will be telling people these things, and they don't have any right to tell this person these things. And what I mean by that is, if you're not close to somebody, I don't personally think it's your right to go up to somebody and tell them that you smell. I think that's a bit offensive. I think these type of things are supposed to be left to the people that are close to that person. So that is what I think about that type of situation. I don't think if you meet someone for the first time and they smell, you're the person to tell them. I think it's very, very shameful. That person will feel a lot of shame. I think it's left down to the people that are close. So if you're close to somebody and they have that problem, it is your responsibility. Don't let somebody, an outsider, in quote, tell them about how they smell, or, that they're not smelling fresh. Like, you should be the person to tell them that first and foremost. But remember, it's not what you say, it's always how you say it, okay? Moving on to our fourth dilemma. So guys, remember, number 3 was the body odor one. So if you have anything to say about that, then, or if you've even experienced it, number 3, before, or you've known a friend that had this problem, write number 3 and write your comment. Okay, so moving on to number 4 now. If the world ended tomorrow, what would be the last thing you would do on Earth? Comment below, guys, I want to know. So if the world ended tomorrow, what would be the last thing you would do on Earth? I know certain people that say they'll rob a bank, but hey ho, don't know when you're going to be able to spend the money. But however, this is what I would do, yeah. I would make it right with God. I don't know. I will spend the whole day mainly praying, worshipping, reading my Bible. I'll just be connected to God. I'll be repenting about everything and anything, even things I don't even know about. I'll be thanking him for my life, whatever it is I wasn't able to do. In fact, even if there's something I can do that day, then and now, I'll be like, do you need me to do something right now? Who do you want me to go and talk to right now? Who do you want me to go and, who do you want me to evangelize to now? Let me do it. If that was the last thing on the list that you wanted me to do, let me go and do it quick. I'll also go to my favourite restaurants with an S at the end. So I'll be going to a lot of places to eat food. I would. And yeah, but I would honestly speaking though, I would be making it right with God. I'll be making it right with God. Like, my last words, I'll tell all my loved ones, of course, that I love them, and everything. In fact, even things that you may have wanted to tell somebody but you haven't told them. I'm not even talking about like any arguments or anything like that, because at that point it's too late. Although some people may have wanted to get some things off their chest, I don't know. So you might have wanted to get something off your chest. Maybe the last day is the time to do that. But that's what I would do. Comment down below number 4. What would you do if the world ended tomorrow and today was your last day on Earth? Okay, number 5 now. What would you do if you were on a date with your partner and his or her ex walked in? What would you do? Comment below, number 5, as to what you would do if you were on a date with your partner and the ex walked in. What would you do? Now, to be honest, I don't think that is a big concern. Yeah, I don't think it's a big concern because I don't think that has anything to do with me. So, quite frankly, this is what it is. Like, whatever. Now, the thing is, if your partner is feeling awkward or feeling like uncomfortable and they're like, let's go, then I think obviously, definitely, you go, you follow, you follow suit. Now, it depends on how obviously they may have ended the relationship as well. The partner could even come up to you and be telling you that this is what this is what had happened in our relationship, and you're with him today, and it's because of X, Y, and Z, and da 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 da. That's your cue to leave as well. So I think it just depends. But I think as mature people, as adults, I just think that it's something that is what it is. Like, honestly speaking, I don't think it's something to, kind of like make a big deal about it. But I definitely think if you are uncomfortable in the situation or your partner's uncomfortable in the situation, they should respect that feeling and, kind of like keep it pushing. Don't wait around for something worse to happen, things of that nature. Sorry guys, I think there's something in my eye. But yeah, don't wait around and wait for something to come up, or you don't want that headache in your life. But I hope you guys enjoyed that game. What would you do? Don't want to bore you too much, but of course I wanted to come to you with a little, just a little light talk and a little bit of fun. So yeah, guys, comment down below what you think you would do. I remember about, I think maybe last year we did, me and my friend, we done a Q&A, and I think the question was something of the nature of if your husband cheated on you, would you leave or would you stay? And you can look for that video. It's last year sometime. You'll see me and my friend. And I said that I would leave, and she basically said that it all depends on the situation, like if there's children and that. And I certainly agree with that. I definitely do stand by the fact that I would leave. However, I do understand that there are so many factors that can, I guess, I wouldn't say make people stay, but at least make them consider, it changes the game basically, and it can change the game when there are children involved, financial situations and things like that. Sometimes people may want to leave, but they can't. Or is it worth leaving? There's many, many things that can play a role in whether or not you would stay or whether or not you would leave. Because I remember when I answered that, literally like at least 2 weeks later, my phone wouldn't stop because people were obviously watching it, and they were like, oh, just because your husband cheats, that doesn't mean you should leave. Just because your husband cheats, da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, fair play, but I could also say, just because your husband cheats, you don't have to stay. Do you see what I'm coming from? Trying to say, I'm trying to say, do you see what I mean? But it's the same thing. Now, like I said, there are things that can make a person stay or contribute to a decision of the person staying, and I also agree with that. But if somebody was to ask me a question and it's like, would you stay, yes or no, my answer would still be no. But I do understand that in certain situations it can alter your thoughts, your decisions, and what you really would want to do. There are many people that say, I would have really wanted to leave, but I just couldn't because of the children or because of financial situations that, what's going on and all these things, which make sense to me. Without all those things, in my mind, I'm like, Now, there's another flip side. People make mistakes. and people learn, people, they cheat, they make mistakes, and then they never do it again. There are some people like that, they never make that mistake again. But there are some people that they cheat and they continue to cheat. So I don't know. Now, if you're married to somebody, that is a thing of a vow now. You have made a vow, in my eyes, before God, and that is something that you really want to put in high regard. You don't want to really mess that up. So I think marriage also changes a lot of things. And if that happens in a marriage, that's definitely something to work on in a marriage. It's not something that I would say definitely pick up your bag and leave, and it's not something I would say definitely stay. I think it just comes down to the individual, the person. It's really down to that. Maybe the advice that you have, your mentors, because of course you may be telling people, they may be giving you advice. You may be married for like 20 years. There's so many things involved in these type of decisions. So I don't think it's wise for somebody to say, like, how can you say that? And someone to say, how can you not say that? Because every situation is different. But if you're supposed to give an answer, then you give your answer according to what you believe at the time, which is your ethics, values, and your morals. And that's what I basically did. So yeah, like, it is what it is. But but God, in fact, it doesn't even matter. As much as all these scenarios, I'm saying it, I don't want it to happen to any of us, but these are the realities of life sometimes. So no, I pray that none of us have to go through a situation. If you are married already, and I pray that you don't have a situation where, your husband steps out on you, or your wife steps out on you. I really pray that's not the situation. Bring everything before God, ultimately. Pray about these things, give your heart to God. Let him minister to your heart. Let him minister to your soul. Let him lead you and give you the strength. Because sometimes, even if you want to stay, maybe you don't even have the strength to stay. You yourself want to stay, but you can't get it out of your mind what has happened. So it's deep. These things are deep. They're really deep. So my thing is, bring everything to God. Let him guide you. Let him lead you. Inquire of the Lord. David always inquired of the Lord. The Bible talks about when he was going to make a decision. I'm not talking about his, all the things that he done on the battlefield, and like the whole adultery with the wife and all of those things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when he was in battle and things of that nature. He would inquire of the Lord, and the Lord will lead him and guide his steps. So that is me done, guys. And I hope you like this session. Let's keep going. I call you all my inspirations, like I said already. If you want to know what my top says, it does say Inspirational by Marie, and the back says be inspired, be encouraged, be blessed. But as you know, I do sell these hoodies, and the front for my inspirations say be inspired, be encouraged, be blessed. That's what the front says for all the people that have purchased them. So I hope you guys liked it. If you want a cop or hoodie, let me know. I'll be right there. And be inspired, be encouraged, be blessed. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Mwah. Bye.